So we're going to use a filled out unit circle. So I have mine that's all typed. You can use the one from your notes or the one that you have typed. And our first job is to evaluate the cotangent of negative 120. So to do that, we want to figure out where negative 120 is. So if I were to sketch, this would be negative 90, and then I have to go that much more. So negative 120 is coterminal with 240. All right. So I'm going to be using the ordered pair at 240 to do this. So for cotangent, we can use the definition x over y, or cosine over sine if you like the quotient identity, or you can find tangent and then flip it. You have all of those options. So I'm going to do x over y, which is the same as cosine over sine. So the x coordinate is negative 1/2. The y coordinate is negative radical 3 over 2. That negative over a negative is going to reduce to a positive. And then instead of dividing by 3/2, I can multiply by the reciprocal. I get 1 over radical 3. And when I simplify, I get radical 3 over 3. Positive radical 3 over 3 is my answer. And that's it. We're finished with that one. For number 2, we want to evaluate the sine of 11 pi over 6. So remember that sine is the y coordinate. So all we need to do for this one is go to 11 pi over 6, which is right here, and grab the y coordinate, which is negative 1/2. And we don't have to think about anything else. The SIGN is correct as well. So that's negative 1/2 is what that says. Okay, the next one's to evaluate the secant of 390 degrees. Well, 390 is not labeled here. So what we need to do first is find out where 390 is. So if we were to sketch going around in the positive direction, we go all the way around, that's 360, and then another 30. So 390 is going to be coterminal with 30 degrees. All right, so since 390 is coterminal with 30 degrees, if I want secant, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the x coordinate because that's cosine and then flip it. Okay, but this one says to explain your complete process. So in addition to actually doing the work, we need some words here to talk about what's happening. So first I sketched 390 and found its coterminal with 30 degrees. And you don't have to have that exact sentence. You can, of course, write that out in all different wording. But the first thing you need to establish is that you're going to use the ordered pair for 30 degrees. Okay, next, we want secant. Secant is the reciprocal of sine. Oops, said that wrong. Cosine. All right, and make sure you use the word reciprocal here. It's not the inverse. It's not the opposite. It's the reciprocal of cosine. Since the x coordinate is cosine, cosine 390 equals radical 3 over 2 from the x coordinate. Okay, since the x coordinate is cosine, cosine 390 equals radical 3 over 2. By flipping the fraction, you can say by finding the reciprocal, I get 2 over radical 3. And you don't have to explain the process for simplifying to get 2 radical 3 over 3 from that. But you do want some explanation of the process here. So you certainly don't have to use exactly the wording that I used. But you want to mention that you're using the ordered pair for 30 degrees or pi over 6. You want to mention that you're using cosine's reciprocal. And that should be sufficient. Okay, up next, we want the point that corresponds to negative 5 pi over 6. So negative 5 pi over 6, again, is not actually listed on here. So what we need to do is we need to find out what it's coterminal with. So for negative 5 pi over 6, if we sketch, we end up over here in quadrant 3, and we're coterminal with 7 pi over 6. So that's what we're going to be using for negative 5 pi over 6. All right, what did we want to do here? Oh, we wanted the point. Okay, so the point is negative radical 3 over 2, negative 1/2. If we wanted cosine, we grab the x coordinate. If we wanted sine, we grab the y coordinate. And then, we can use reciprocals or definitions of trig functions to find the other ones if we want to. All right, the last one is to solve for theta. We want to know all the places where cosecant is negative 2. Okay, so if cosecant is negative 2, remember this is the reciprocal of sine. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for where sine is -1/2. So I go to the unit circle, and since the y-coordinate is sine, I'm looking for where sine is -1/2. This will not do because the y-coordinate there is 1/2. I want -1/2. So I work my way around. And this won't work either because the y-coordinate is positive there. So sine here, cosecant here would be +2, not -2. And this one doesn't work because that's the x-coordinate. That's cosine. So since this is cosine, the secant here would be -2. I want cosecant to be -2. So I'm very specifically looking for where sine is -1/2, and that's the y-coordinate of the ordered pair. So right there, that's 7 pi over 6, which is 210. I'm just copying that from the labels here. And the other place where the y-coordinate is -1/2 is here at 330 and pi over 6. I said that wrong. 11 pi over 6. All right. Hope that helped. Extra help is available if you want to go over anything. If you want me to read your explanation of your process, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to take a look at it. Thanks, guys.